खण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं Tat Padam darshitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Harihi Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishnaaya. So hearty welcome to everyone on this beautiful afternoon in India and respective places, whatever time. But I should say that last time when we were seeing this book for seekers of God, the paragraph that we ended with raised a few questions in the minds of a few devotees. Prithvi actually raised a question which was echoed by many other devotees who wrote to me separately. So I gave the same answer to everyone. Let us take up this topic in the next class, and that is what it has come to us. So I would ask Prithvi first, can you put that question again or read that last paragraph once again and bring the question in its context so that we all can be refreshed with our memories.
Maharaj Pranam. Maharaj, I will request in Maulaya Rai, can you read it? I don't have the book with me today in Kolkata.
Yes, today Rai will be reading.
Yeah.
So Rai, please. And could you tell the page number?
Yeah, the very last context where I think the question was about offering any offerings for funeral services, why that cannot be used for puja. So I will just read at the beginning of page 4 that section just to kind of bring back everybody to that point. At that time, the monk in charge of the monastery menage came in, saluted Mahapurushji and said that a certain devotee had given money to be devoted to the worship of Sri Ramakrishna in memory of the man's recently deceased wife. Swami Shivananda said, since the master couldn't accept offerings in connection with anyone's funeral service, how can we knowingly use this money in his worship? Tell the devotee about it. Our master is not a figment of the imagination, but a veritable living presence. If ever anything improper is done in connection with his service, he is sure to let us know of the transgression immediately. Is that?
Rai, the signal went down. We did not. Is that what you saying?
That you were referring to when you were asking your question.
Yes, I think that was the question. Thanks, Rai.
What was the question?
Can you hear us now?
Yes, the question was, Maharaj, that why Thakur was not in favor of participating or performing any puja related to a deceased person or a funeral. That's what we heard there.
Okay. Yeah. That's a very question. No, it is telling many people, because we find that being Hindu or being belonging to a Sanatana Dharma, we have certain concepts which are well staying in our mind. For instance, well ingrained, I should say, in our mind. From childhood onwards, certain concepts we do not question. Can you remember one of those concepts that we never questioned in our life and we grew up with that concept? Yes, it is true. And that concept is, one of those concepts is reincarnation, Punarjanma. This theory of Punarjanma, we never actually questioned. When I look back in my life of 76 years, I find that I have never questioned that idea at all. I just took it, yes, we had previous janmas and we are going to have a new janmas again. Like that, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani, Jatare Shayanam. Like that, Shankara says, Punarapi Jananam. Jananam will come again and again and again. Punarapi Maranam. Maranam also will come again and again and again. So Maranam and Jananam both are something like that we have taken for granted. Now this is one of the beautiful concepts of Hinduism which we do not find in other religions. That is, if you say that the person who is living with us dies, what happens to that person after his death? Does he stay on, or does he live, or is everything is over for that person? So now this question has been agitating our saints and sages long back. I'm telling from the Upanishadic age. And then Puranic age came. In Puranic age, many rishis were there, avatars were there. So they all gave this answer that yes, there is nothing, there's something like full stop for a single person's journey of life. The journey of life continues for again and again he has to take birth, he has to die again, till he reaches the moksha, the freedom. That is what they say. So that's why the four purusharthas are lined up: dharma, artha, kama, finally moksha. Only when the moksha stage is reached, there will be no more rebirth. So this question has been settled in our shastras. Now the problem is we have accepted this as normal, as because we are born into that type of family with that type of samskaras. But 3/4 of the world who are not Hindus naturally will question. Will naturally ask this question: what is the proof of reincarnation, that is rebirth? Is there any proof? If there is no proof, then why do you harping on that point again and again? Then this acceptance of this obsequies, as we call it, the last rites, ritualistic rites, they are all useless. Like that they go on arguing. And the modern day, when we are not having proper answer to a question, we tend to deny it. Instead of thinking the person whom I am asking is unable to answer me, or thinking that there is no such answer so far I have got, that humility is gone away. You know, that humility is one of the scientific temper which Jawaharlal Nehru used to insist. And that scientific temper does not mean that the moment you do not get a satisfactory answer, you reject that question itself. No. So people have to wait for that. And sometime or other one gets answers. So like that, if you do not believe in the reincarnation at all, I'm not telling even reincarnation, let us leave that reincarnation, that is a rebirth. But I'm telling just after death and the period that a person stays alive, not in physical body, but in the sukshma body. At that time, till he takes a new birth, is there any proof that the person is there? I will tell you one incident that happened in Ranchi sanatorium. One gentleman used to come. He was a Gnostic. Gnostic means one who does not believe in God. So he used to come to our ashram. Somehow he was attracted to the humanistic services that we render to the people. So we used to go to the villages. We used to do a lot of service activities to the villagers, and he was very much attracted to that. I would sometimes tell him, Mr. Bose, he was also Bose. So I tell him, hey, I have to give 100 saris next week to the village women. On particular village we are going, 100 families are there, 100 saris I want. No problem. Immediately he will open his bag and take out the checkbook and write the amount and give it. So such was his, and he used to come also with me. And he became a great friend of me. And people used to wonder, a Nastika is coming to the ashram and he has become friend of the head of this Swami, what is this matter? And he calls him, he keeps him next to him and he gives him tea, etc. What is this? And we are all Astikas, we are not getting that VIP standard. So that's they used to have jealousy about him. But that man was wonderful. His wife was a gem of a lady, and she was so devoted to Mother Jagaddatri. So when we used to do Jagaddatri Puja, she used to come and collect donations by going from person to person. 2 rupees, 5 rupees, 3 rupees, like that she would collect and bring the donation for the puja. But such a great lady, her husband was completely Nastic. Now, this lady, one day, she passed on by an accident. The accident was, somehow it happened. Unfortunately, we are all very sad that she passed away, and the husband was I should not say little, very sad. And then he came to me, and he was sitting with me like this long time. And I used to tell, you see, she must be very happy person. She has left this body. She is no more within the constraints of the body. She is now a free soul. She can go anywhere, and she is moving everywhere, and she is looking after all her relations. Unfortunately, she didn't have any child. Now, the lady is passed on. This man, being a Gnostic, he was not willing to believe that there is an afterlife, after the death. Before death, there is a life. That is the life we are all leading now. But after death, there is a life, or there can be a life, which he was not willing to. But the nature has got its own way to prove it. One day, his sister from Calcutta rang him up and telling, do you know, আজকে বৌদি আমার বাড়িতে এসেছিলেন। সে বলছে, I am translating it in English. She says, a sister said that my sister-in-law came to our house today. She is in Calcutta, and this sister-in-law has passed away. And this man is with me, sitting. At that time the telephone comes, and the lady says, that his sister says, my sister-in-law, that is her brother's wife, she came to my house today. Then he asked, how do you know that she was that? She passed away. Then she says, yes, I know that she passed away, but at the Bhutan, there is a outside outreach place is there. There's a tree, and I was sitting there. She came nearest to me, as nearest to me, and I could see her live form. And she told me, dear, can you give me a glass of water? I am thirsty, thirsty, thirsty. No water is given to me, and I am moving from place to place. She said, immediately she went inside and brought a glass of water and kept it there, and the figure disappeared. So this is what she told her brother. Then I told his brother, you see, we are in Ranchi. Ranchi is very nearest place to Gaya. We always do shradh ceremony for people who have unnatural deaths. So Gaya is the place where shraddha has to be done. Why don't you go? I will send a person with you. You go there and do a shraddha ceremony. He said, Maharaj, do you know, I do not believe in these things. I said, for the sake of your wife, can you not do this? Just keep your belief with you. But going and performing a small ritual in Gaya, for the sake of your wife, you may not believe the next life, but for the sake of her, can you do this? Finally he agreed. I sent him, and then the thing was done. Thereafter, the wife never came up in anybody's vision. Now I am telling you, there is a life after death. But we do not know, we don't want to believe it. In that case, the nature will bring to our senses some type of experiences to you by which you will be able to believe. I have got my own belief, but I believed in past life, on the future life also I believe in, and the interregnum period where before it takes another birth, another human body or any other body, it can have a life. And what is that life, we do not know. In my case, it happened, I am just recollecting one of my experience with me that happened with me. I was Vrindavan at that time, and I was doing I wanted to have this bhakti sadhana. You know, always Vedanta sadhana does not give you pleasure. So let me undergo some bhakti sadhana. I went. So I went to Vrindavan, and everywhere you find Krishna, Krishna, and Radha, Radha. So it was a very beautiful atmosphere in our ashram. And we have a beautiful temple also in Vrindavan. So I stayed there for 3 months. One day, just before 15 days of my leave to be exhausted, I saw in the midnight in my room. It was all dark. I am actually sleeping. I saw my father's form coming and standing in front of me. I just got up and I am confused. He is in Chennai. How did he come here to Vrindavan without telling me? I was surprised. And who opened the door? And the whole room was lighted up. And he told me, calling my, his pet name. And then he said, look, I am going. And he waved his hand and disappeared. It's only happened in a few seconds, or 1 or 2 seconds. And immediately the room became dark. I sat on my bed, put on the switch, and I saw the date. When I came to Belur I was received with the Belur Swamis, and then they put me in a room and they gave me some letters which have come in my name to the Belur address. And one of the letters was from my brother who said, on such and such a day, our father passed on. So that information, the date, and the date I saw him was the same. So if he had not there at all, if there is no life at all after death, would I be able to see him? Was it my imagination? If there is imagination, then why should I see at that moment after his death? Why I did not see him when he was living? So these questions cannot be answered unless you propose a theory. So in Hinduism, a theory is given. Suppose you say a person has got only one life. Take it for just granted that he has got only one life. He does good karma as well as he does bad karma. Now good karma results will bring good effects. Bad karma will bring bad effects. Now if the man dies and he has not received the effects of those good and bad karmas, if this is only one life, where will those effects go? Will they be completely removed from the plate of his memory? Or will he be there at all to experience these good and bad effects in some other life? Suppose the life is not there, next life is not, how do you reconcile whatever he has done bad thing to other people? How is he going to get it back? Because every action must have a reaction of the equivalent force. Reaction must be there. So if you say that there is no next life, then how is he going to give back whatever he has received from somebody? Where is the chance? So that's several questions of this nature cropping up when we say this is only one life, there is no next life. But if you accept the theory, I'm telling theory, even though I'm not telling you to accept wholly, but theoretically if you accept there is a next life, then some of the problems of such nature can be resolved by understanding, yes, so this birth, I did something wrong to somebody, that effect has not come to me. I lived very nicely. And then I died. In the next birth, that is going to come and catch me. Now, there's a possibility of answering this question, what will happen to the karmic effects if there is no birth? Next. So, there are many questions like that will come. Now, what is Hinduism's one of the major traditional beliefs? This is reincarnation. Getting rebirth is one of the major beliefs in Hinduism. If you say that I am not a Hindu, I can believe in rebirth, you are most welcome. And if you say I don't believe in rebirth, but I am a Hindu, then Hindus will not accept you as Hindu. Because this is one of the major source of our beliefs, of our system that we live. So you have to accept this rebirth theory. Now if this rebirth theory, is it scientific, is it properly logical, etc., etc. I always used to recommend one book written by Gina Serminara. That book name is Many Mansions. I told many people to purchase it and please read it. And many people have purchased it and they have not opened the book. And like that many are there. So I find it that you must go through it. Once you read it, it's a small book, it's not a very big book. So if you read that Gina Serminara has written about Edgar Casey, one doctor, a medical doctor who was an allopath practitioner. He used to take interest in hypnotism, and he used to hypnotize patients. Why he used to hypnotize patients? Because certain diseases are not cured by your allopathic medicines. Some long-standing diseases, which we call chronic diseases. Chronic diseases are not cured by certain medicines. Then what he would do, he will hypnotize the patient, and then he would ask the patient, please go back in your life. 5 years before, 10 years before, 15 years before. Like that he would ask him. It's called retrogression. He will make the patient to go back into his life and tell him in the hypnotic stage that what he has done wrong, what he has done good. And those things the patient would repeat. At that time he would record that and give that recording to the patient. And the patient puts on the recording, and then he listens to what he said, because he doesn't remember. When he comes out of hypnotism, he would not remember anything. But Edgar Casey would give him the recording, and this fellow, the subject, that is the patient, would get up, and then he would listen, and then he will understand what wrong he did. The moment he understands the wrong that he did in the previous years during his life, his suffering is now gone. He is completely healed. So, Edgar Casey was the first person to start this process of hypnotism and started curing some of the chronic diseases the patients were suffering. One day, this Gina Servinara was his nursing assistant. She asked the doctor, Dr. Casey, there are some patients whom you are unable to cure even if the patient has gone back to the age of 2. Because there is no solution, you found, and the patient is still suffering. Then Edgar Casey asked her, what do you mean? What do you say? Then she said, can you ask the patient to go back into his previous life? He laughed. Because he was a true Christian. He said, we Christians do not believe in the previous life. There is no previous life for anybody. Then he quoted all the Bible statements and big statements he quoted and told her, no, we don't believe. Then she said, but sir, we may not believe as Christians, but the other side of the world, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Chinese religion, Japanese religion, they all believe in reincarnation. They believe in rebirth. So half the population, half the hemisphere of this world is believing a theory. Why not we also try? He said, okay, when you are telling such cases come, I will try. He agreed reluctantly, and he started asking the patient, tell me, do you have any past life? Were you born anywhere? And to his utter surprise, the patient started telling about their past life. They were all born Christians, mind you, in UK, Ireland, in Spain. These are the places where his subjects were there. And the patients used to come to him. And he was in Italy. And these European patients, they used to say, yes, I was born in England at such and such a place, in such and such village name, he says. Like that, when Gina Servinara took interest in that, and she started writing down. After writing down, after the death of Edgar Casey, she went to those places and confirmed such people lived 30 years back, 50 years back, 100 years back. Such people lived that she confirmed. Now, why I'm telling you, she has written this book. She has tried to explain, if you take it for granted that there is a rebirth, there is the reincarnation of the soul, then certain questions can be answered. She says, what type of questions? Why do some people remain bachelors, not getting married? She says, why do some people born poor? Why do some people are born with silver spoon in their mouth? Why do people are born with incurable diseases? Why do children die? Some of the questions, these are all basic questions come to us always. When we see any news item, etc., the questions come to us and we forget. But Gina Servinara says, that I have attempted to answer such questions, and without the possibility of the theory of reincarnation, these questions cannot be answered. So what I have done in this book, she says, I have attempted to answer these questions with the belief of in reincarnation. Let us see how this reincarnation theory clears all these questions. So she answers these questions according to her writings. Now you see whether you may agree or not. I'm not telling whether you will agree or not. But a reading of the book will do a good thing for us. Because many questions we have in our mind which we don't ask people. And those questions can be answered with the theory of reincarnation. Now this is the point of, so what I'm telling you is the reincarnation is taken for granted in Buddhism. So a person who dies has got some period till he takes another birth in human body. There is some interregnum, as you call it. That intermittent period is there. In that period, he is living. So he is living in what body? So our Vedanta says that there are three bodies we have essentially. We have a Sthula Shariram, which is called gross body, and we have Sukshma Shariram, we have a subtle body, and we have a Karana Shariram, that is causal body. So three bodies we live in. Just because the Sthula Shariram, the gross body is removed, and there is no guarantee that the Sukshma body also is collapses. No. Sukshma body remains. The subtle body remains. The subtle body living in the subtle loka, in the sphere, that period is very important period. That period is what the Shraddha ceremony is pointing to. Not regarding rebirth. Shraddha ceremony is nothing to do with rebirth, mind you. But there is an intermediate period for the soul to take the next birth, and during that period what happens to the soul. So who is the person who can tell us about this, who has gone dead and coming back and telling, we have not found anybody. Even Yamadharma is very difficult to see him. Only one Nachiketa saw him, and he asked the question, what happens to the man who dies? Nachiketa says, this question is not for you. 90-year-old man should ask. You are only a 12-year-old boy. You cannot ask this question. But Nachiketa is not going to leave. And he made him answer the question that is explained in Katha Upanishad. So we can read Katha Upanishad for your interest, and you will find some answers in that. Now, because of this problem of understanding whether the next birth is there or not, that is a far, far away question. I am telling the period after the death of the body, where does the soul go and what it does. There is a beautiful Puranas. After many Puranas are there, there is one Purana which is very famous in the Hindi-speaking areas of India, and that is called Garuda Purana. Garuda is the Vahana, of Lord Vishnu. So, in the death ceremony, the offerings are to be given to Lord. Is in charge of the souls that is going to take away. So, Purana, it has become, and it says, as if Garuda is speaking to somebody, some of the rishis who are putting questions, and is answering. And if you see that, there are many conversations between many rishis in the Garuda Purana. And in that, the whole Purana deals with life after death. That's a very beautiful way, and these Puranas are not very big, and we don't have time to read all those things. So even if you read, there is what happens to a man after death. There's a beautiful lectures are there by Swami Abhedanandaji Maharaj. So one of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. So he has also written Life After Death. So if you read that book also, you get a fairly good idea what happens to the soul.
HD box কিনতে হবে
So I
HD
will
box
speak
কিনতে
to
হলে কি
you
করতে
here
হবে
in a very short way how this soul goes. So once a person falls down, that is his gross body
ঠিক আছে
falls
তার জন্য
down,
কত টাকা দিতে হবে
the soul remains at the spot of his death for 13 days.
আপনি
In
বললে
North
করে
Indian
দেবেন তো
tradition and South Indian tradition, he stays there, the soul stays there for 16 days. So you may ask, how is it possible? Once you are dying, you are died. So do you have North Indian, South Indian, or American or European? Can you say that? You can't say that. Yes, it is a very, very peculiar idea. But you say, again, it is all belief. So the belief system, if you accept, if you are a South Indian and you are born and brought up in South Indian way of living, then this belief system gives you 16 days, so you accept it. What is there even if 3 days more if he stays with you? Doesn't matter. So whether it is 13 days or 10 days or 10 days, the number of days is not important. Why I am telling you, this after 13 days or after 16 days, a ceremony which is called shradh is performed. And once the shradh ceremony is performed after this particular number of days, then what happens to the soul? The soul is freed from hanging on to that place where he died. So if I die in Tinagar now, what happens? My soul will remain for 13 days or 16 days as per the Tamil belief. So here, in this very spot, after the Shraddha ceremony is done, then I am talking to me, I am telling not as a monk. Monks have got different ways. That I will see later. But the non-monks, the grahasthas, the other people who die, they for 16 days after, they are allowed to travel to other spheres in this universe. There are other spheres, so they are called lokas. There are total 14 lokas the Garuda Purana speaks of. The Bhumi, the earth, and above earth 6 lokas. And down below the earth there are 7 lokas. So 7 plus Bhumi, 1 is 8, and another 6, total 14 lokas are there. So what this does, it stays 1 year, the soul hangs on to this earth. When we say 1 year, human 1 year, 365 days we speak about. But Garuda Purana says, to the soul who had departed from the gross body, the time changes. How does it change? 365 days of 1 year is equivalent to 1 day and night for that soul. He stays only 1 day and night. A few moments, 13 days or 16 days, comes as a few moments in 1 year, mind you. So a few moments he stayed in his place of death. After that, he goes on wandering. Wandering he goes. Now wandering means what? Wandering to different places. This Pitriloka as we call it. This Pitriloka is the intermediary loka before getting into the 14 lokas. So the Pitriloka is like a waiting in station in the airport. You have not entered into the plane, you have not left the airport also. But you are waiting somewhere. So that waiting place is called, that place Pitriloka. So everybody waits in the Pitriloka. And 1 day of the soul is over, equivalent to 365 days of human days, then it enters into any of the 14 days. Now the question comes, the Hindu sages believe, if a person who is dead, for him, if you do not perform the rituals, as I told you, Hinduism has got 3 aspects. One is philosophy, second is mythology, third is ritualism. If you take anything minusing this and accept Hinduism, that will not be full-fledged Hinduism. Only partially you accepted Hinduism. Many Westerners, they come to Hinduism, they don't want to accept ritualism. So what they have done, they say, no, we believe in certain concepts of Hinduism. They say, so they have not become full-fledged Hindus. Unless all these 3 are acceptable to you, How can you become a full-fledged Hindu? Is a question. Sociologists, they are raising this question in the social media, etc. Now we are not going into that part of the discussion. Our discussion is that ritualism is part of our religion. So when ritualism is a part of religion, if from starting with the achaman, purification of your body and mind and your mouth, taking 3 times, taking the Vishnu's name, you say Om Vishnu, Om Vishnu, Om Vishnu. From that onwards, all types of rituals are part of your religion. You say that being a Hindu, I will accept the philosophy, I will not accept the Puranas. I will accept the Puranas, I will not accept the ritualism. Then you have not become yourself completely a full-fledged personality. Your personality is deficient in any of these aspects, which you do not believe in. That's why a Hindu should be able to believe in the philosophy, he should be able to understand the philosophy, he should be able to believe in mythology, and he should be able to perform the ritualistic portion. So one ritual is called shradh ceremony. This shradh ceremony, if not done, suppose you say that it should be done, as a Hindu I do it, etc. Okay, but what if I have got no means to do that? I am in such a place, I have got no way to do the shradh ceremony. What happens to the soul? The question will naturally come up in our mind. Then they say, that soul who has gone, he will be moving more than one day. He would not be able to get into the loka for which he was destined to, because you have not released him from where he is presently. So this shradha ceremony is nothing but a mechanism to release the soul from a particular place and go and allow it to have onward journey. That's why when people write to me, so and so has passed on, etc., I never say RIP. I don't say that. There is no question of rest in peace. There is no rest. And neither no peace also. Because you have to take next birth. So I say, may Lord bless the soul, departed soul, and guide the soul to its onward journey. That's what I say. Because the onward journey is there. We Hindus do not believe that its journey is over by one death. No, there is an onward journey. We have got many births we have taken. Swamiji says to young men of Madras, my dear young men of Madras, I know you all have had many past births. I do not want to know how many future births you are going to have. My dear young man, can you give me this one life for me? He's begging. I beseech you, he says. That's a beautiful English. There's a Shakespearean English we have forgotten today. I beseech you. I request you. I implead with you. Can you give this one life for me? He said. At that time he uses the word that you have had many past births. See, that Hindu belief has come out in his address also. So this belief, whether you express it as you believe in or not, but it is there. Who else is better than Swamiji is rational minded? You see, who can be more than rational minded than Swamiji? But still Swamiji also says that. So there is what will come to Shradha ceremony. This Shradha, the word itself comes from Shraddha. Shraddha means that which is. Shankara defines this Shraddha word as astikya buddhi, he call it. A buddhi, an intelligence, an intellect that says, yes, it is. If I have seen something, can you deny that? If you take salt and then take a pinch of salt in your mouth, what it salty taste, can you deny that after that? Salty taste is there. It is. So this is called astikya. Asti. Astikya means, it comes from the word asti. Asti means it is. Existence. It is. So that you feel the soul is. Soul is not is not the correct word. Soul is. That is astikya. And that astikya buddhi, if that intellect comes, then he says, he called the word shraddha And with shradha, if you do a ceremony, if you think that yes, my father has passed on and I am doing this ceremony for my father's soul, if you think with the existence of your father after the death, that is, you are completely aware of it, you got full belief in that, then you have got shraddha. So when shraddha, with shraddha you do a ceremony, that ceremony is called shradha ceremony. So that is how the name has evolved. Now, what is the point? See, Ramakrishna is not in favor of this shradha ceremony. If you say, if that is only partial understanding of Sri Ramakrishna's teachings. Sri Ramakrishna never decried a shradha ceremony as such. Did he decry anywhere? In the gospel, did you find anywhere? If you find anywhere, please tell me the reference. So far I have read, he has never decried that practice. Rather, what he was telling was, I am coming to the question that was raised by Prithvish, he was not willing for acceptance of the food offered to our forefathers. Now this is a good point, because my forefather is related to me physically, is it not? I have come from the physique of my father and mother. So they came from their father and mother. So I am related physically to that past departed soul. If in that case, that you being not related in any way, you are not related to that past departed soul. So for you, what is the necessity to accept the food offered to the departed soul? Why I should not take it? Here comes one important theory that is used in Sankhya philosophy as well as partially accepted in Vedanta philosophy. That concept is called tan-matra concept. There is a concept called tan-matra. Unless we understand tan-matra, we will not be able to understand the shradha ceremony significance. So what is this tan-matra? Tan-matra is nothing but every physical object in this universe has got simultaneous an object which is subtle. Can you call a subtle thing as an object? Just for our understanding, I'm using that word. You cannot call it object. But every physical object has got a simultaneous subtle object. That subtlety is one of the portion of the physical object. Swami Vivekananda says the whole universe has not been created by anybody. Not that God sat on Sunday, 7 days, 6 days he created, Sunday he took rest. These are all maybe Puranic things. In Christianity also mythology is there. Mythology matters, whether you believe in it or not. But Swamiji says this universe has come out of Prakriti, the nature as we call it, Prakriti, as what? As projection of the Prakriti, not as creation. He says the word creation I do not accept. Vedanta does not accept. What Vedanta says? Vedanta says Srishti, the word used for creation is Srishti, wrongly translated into English as creation. Srishti doesn't mean creation. Srishti means projection. So yes, some force was there, that force is projected. A horsepower, say 10 horsepower, a pump is there. A pump has to run. So the force that is within that pump is now activated with the electric connection, and that pump gives a force of 10 HP, and that pump starts activating. Then what happens? The water gushes forth from the river. It comes to my field. So how the water was brought? The water was brought by a force, is it not? So the force has now projected itself into the momentum of force of water bringing it. So Swamiji says this universe is a projection, not a srishti, not a creation. Nobody sat anywhere and created this universe. That theory, even in Hinduism, in the Puranas, we find Brahma created this universe, we say. And while creating every jiva, he writes on the forehead. Of course, the question comes, when I was in the state of subtle body, where was my forehead? Forehead comes only when I have a physical body. So how did Brahma write there? So these are the questions. Puranas are always point of confrontation, or questions will come. So Puranas also say, our Puranas also say that, yes, Brahma sat and created. Just Christians say, God sat and created. But Vedanta does not accept that. Vedanta goes a step further. If you have a belief in the Puranas, you have it. We have no problem. Vedantins say, we have no problem with you. You have that belief. But Vedanta says, this universe is a projection of the power that is inside. That's why in everything that you projected in this universe, you find the divine power is immanent. A beautiful word Swamiji uses, immanent. Immanent means residing in everything. God is, where is God? If you ask, God is where he is not. A small girl asked me in Durban. I asked, where is God? She said, please tell me, Swamiji, where he is not. Then I can tell you. Yes, very good answer, because he is not there, you cannot say. He is everywhere. So if he is everywhere, then how can you say that he is not? So he is there. So in the projection, he is there. That power is there. Now, I'm coming to that point. What is the objection of Thakur regarding the food offered to our forefather? First objection comes from that you are not blood related. Second objection comes from the tan-matra concept starts activated, and the tan-matra, of the person who passed away, his qualities will come to you when you accept the food offered to that person. Suppose you go to some friend's house, the friend's grandfather has passed away. They offer you the offered food of the grandfather to you. You eat that. You come back. If he was a good person, some good thoughts will come upon you. If he was a bad person, God forbid, your friend should not have a bad grandfather. Anyway, if he was a bad grandfather, then the bad thoughts will come and assault you on that night. You cannot escape. So Sri Ramakrishna was very particular. If he is not a blood-related relative, you should not accept this shradh of offered food to anybody. Now, is there any proof for that? Much after Sri Ramakrishna passed away, one incident happened in the life of Vijoy Krishna Goswami. Vijoy Krishna Goswami, we see this name very much in the gospel. And Sri Ramakrishna used to love that person, though he belonged to Brahma Samaj. But Vijoy Krishna Goswami is sitting there, Ramakrishna is very happy. And he will very smilingly he will speak to him. So Vijay, and he used to call him Vijay. So Vijay became a great guru on his own. His disciples are also there. I do not know whether today that Vijoy Krishna Goswami's disciple who took initiation, who in that line who came, she has joined today or not. That I met one lady, and it was very funny, this Vijoy Krishna Goswami's name, how it came. I told that lady, you open any page of the gospel and start reading. I said, then after chanting the Tavakratamurtam, she opened the page. First sentence, Vijoy Krishna Goswami entered the Ramakrishna school, and she started crying. I asked, why are you crying for this sentence? She said, because he is my guru, she says. So something like that it happened. So Vijoy Krishna Goswami became an acharya on his own right. He left Brahma Samaj. He used to go from place to place and preach. He was one of the persons who was the top-notch persons in Calcutta at that time, who was converted by Sri Ramakrishna to the belief of mother worship, mind you. He was not earlier mother worshipper, but he became one of the, like Keshav Sen. Keshav's son never believed in mother worship. Later he accepted mother worship because coming into contact with Sri Ramakrishna. Anyway, that Vijoy Krishna Goswami had gone to a village and the villagers received him and kept him in the Kali temple. Then he asked, everything is okay? All of you are all right? Then the villagers said, no sir, nothing is all right here. Why? You see, Mother Kali statue, you see what happened? He looked at her. He didn't find any difference. Other statue is there. He said, we had plenty of necklaces, ornaments on Mother Kali's body. And you see, nothing is there. I said, where it has gone? All have been stolen yesterday night. Stolen? Yes. One sadhu came in Garua, in this orange robe. One sadhu came. We allowed him to stay in this temple veranda. And we fed him 3 times a day. 3 days he stayed. Yesterday night, he left, stealing all the ornaments from Mother Kali's body. So we are very sad. Then he said, yesterday night, he's told, that means he's walking, and he would not have gone very far. Send some boys from your village on horses and go and catch him and bring him. So 2 boys went on the horses and they found him somewhere 5 kilometers distance and caught him. And he had a small bag, a potli, he had, and all the ornaments are there. So they caught him and brought him to Vijoy Krishna Goswami. Vijoy Krishna Goswami is simple, is very, very sattvic type of devotee. Vijoy Krishna Goswami Acharya. So he asked this Swami, and because he was a sannyasi, he paid him respects. He made him sit down and see, I'm not going to do anything to you, don't worry. We are not going to beat you or something. I want to know one answer from you. What is that you want to know? Why, being a Swami, why did you steal from this temple? His answer was stunning. He said, look, I am a wandering monk. I don't keep anything with me. If you have seen from previous villages where I had been there, you can ask the people there. I don't take anything from them except food. And with my one shirt and one dhoti, I am moving. But yesterday I do not know, in the night, the midnight, somehow my sleep was disturbed. I got up and I looked at the temple. Inside that, Mother Kali is there and a small lamp was burning. And through the door, I kept my hand on the door and looked inside, and she was having all those ornaments. They were all simply shining. But the moment I touched the door opened. I went inside and made pranam to Mother Kali and looked at her, the beauty of Mother Kali's form, and so many ornaments were there. Something told me, steal these. So I stole everything and started walking. But Vijay Acharya, no, I am not of that type of stealing man. I am not a thief. I am giving you all these things back. Because something goaded me, something made me to act like this. I do not know what it is. Now this is a very terrible thing. Vijay Krishna Goswami to resolve now this position. And villagers are sitting. Before them, the Swami is talking like this, the Garvadari is talking. And Vijay Krishna Goswami stood. He asked a very pertinent question. What a beautiful question he asked. Yesterday, where did you have your meal? He asked. He said, yesterday, 3 o'clock, by the time lunch they would bring villagers. But nobody brought any lunch for me yesterday. I'm sitting and sitting and sitting, waiting and waiting. Nobody brought. So I started walking into the village. And nearer to the village, one house, one lady was standing there. She looked at me. Hey, Baba, you have come. Very good. Come inside. I will feed you today. Like that, she took me inside and fed me to my stomach content. I ate very nicely and then came away. Then Vijay Krishna Goswami asked the villagers whose house it was and why that lady fed him so much when all others have left the village and gone for some mela. How this one lady, she was there and she fed him. Find out this. And they came with the answer, That was the shradh ceremony done in that house on that day. That is yesterday. And the shradh food was fed to the sadhu. And the sadhu had the impetus or the force of stealing the ornaments came from that person who is dead. Why? The tan-matra of that person affected this sadhu. So even you may be a very good sadhu, but it is very difficult to stop the influence of the tan-matra, through the tan-matra, whatever that person had. Then later Vijoy Krishna Goswami found out the person who was dead, for whom the shraddha was done, was a man of not good character. He found out that. So you can imagine now why sadhus are prohibited from accepting the shraddha food. Our devotees who are all initiated in the Ramakrishna Mission tradition, they are advised at the time of Diksha that do not accept the shraddha food. Now in this injunction, in this ruling also, there may be some type of problems will come, questions will come. So in training center, after training center, we had sannyasa ceremony. And after the sannyasa ceremony, we all the brahmacharis, we were brahmacharis. At that moment, we have become sannyasis. We all went and sat around Swami Vimokshananda Maharaj. He was my sannyasa guru, and we all sat around him. And we asked him, Maharaj, one question is troubling us. So, yes, ask. He was very happy with us, and he asked us to tell that question. So, one new sannyasi, the new monk, he raised a question. Maharaj, many times people come to our ashram and insist upon this giving shraddha ceremony food, and they want to give it to us. What we should do? And some devotees come and ask, we have become initiated disciples of Ramakrishna tradition. Should we accept this shraddha food from outside? So these two questions, please tell us. So I am telling you what he told us on that day. He told very logical and systematic way he explained to us. He said, first question, no shraddha food should be accepted in any ashram. No shraddha food. To whoever it is, should not be accepted in the shraddha, in the ashram. And no monks and no brahmacharis should be fed with that. If they bring it, you please ask them, you go outside and give it to any other persons. You go to some temples outside, beggars are there, you feed them. But no such shraddha food, in spite, even though the departed soul was the highest kind of, the best quality of human being, you take it for granted, even though we should not accept. That is the first question, rule he has given. Second question is said, whether the devotees can go and accept shraddha food. For that he said, yes, the devotees can go and accept shraddha food if the departed soul is somehow blood connected to that person. Then they should go. So if your grandfather is dead and you have done, and you are inviting somebody who is also blood relation, of through the many relations types are there, he is also connected to the grandfather, you can go and accept. Because you form a lineage, you form a family. So naturally, a shraddha food offered to a grandfather should not be refused by the grandson. It should be there. He should accept. So that is number one. Second point is said, if you are by sociological obligation, you are made to go to such a ceremony, you sit there, attend the ceremony, and look at that Vishnu's prasad, and you tell the house owner, please give me Vishnu's prasad, I will not take the other food. So Vishnu's prasad will not harm you, because there is a Vishnu Satyanarayan puja is done, Vishnu puja is done. So Vishnu prasad can be given. Second point. Third point, in case you are compelled to, I am telling about the householders, not the sadhus. In case you are compelled to accept the food, you come back and 10,000 times you do japa on that night. Then the Brahmacharya, the Swami said, Maharaj, it is better not to go at all. He said, instead of doing 10,000 times japa. So that was, we all burst into laughter at that time. So if you do, even if you go, you cannot avoid, for instance, your own company manager, in whose hands your everything is depend upon, you cannot say no to him. Yes, go there, take it, food, take the food, doesn't matter, but do in the night, come back and do 10,000 times japa, he said. So that is how he resolved these two questions to us. Now I am giving to the audience now. So Prithvish has raised his hand. Yes, Prithvish.
No, it's me, Jhuma Maharaj. So that was a very, very, very comprehensive and a very, very lucid explanation. Thank you so much. It was, you all this time it was that the food which is offered to the deceased soul, that we cannot partake of that food. But in this case, it is said that
no, you cannot partake if you are not blood related.
Yes, if
and you are leading a serious spiritual life.
Right. Yes. Right. But what about the money that he wanted to give? In this particular case, the devotee wanted to give money to be devoted to the worship of Sri Ramakrishna in memory of the man's recently deceased wife. So that is just like...
Sorry, yes. It is not a shradha food. Technically, it is not shradha food. Instead of food, you purchase vegetables, you make food, and you offer it to the departed soul and give it to us. It is somewhat equivalent to that when you give money and ask me to purchase fruits, etc., and offer to Sri Ramakrishna. So Sri Ramakrishna is not going to accept that.
So even money also cannot be accepted. So it is
because
so some people bring money to our ashrams. Suppose you have, say, a boys' hostel or girls' hostel, and they'll come and say, today is my father's shradha ceremony, so I am donating 10,000 rupees. Please feed the children nicely.
Right.
Even if you do that, the tan-matra is going to affect. Now, the question is whether you accept the affection of tan-matra or not. If you don't, you accept the tan-matra concept itself, it doesn't going to make any difference to you. You can eat. I'm telling you, if you accept this theory that not to take shradha food, certain concepts you are already accepted.
Okay, right. So I hear people saying that এই আশ্রমে শ্রাদ্ধটা করলাম, ওই আশ্রম that we did the shradh in this ashram or in that ashram. So that
those
means
those ashrams are not Ramakrishna Mission ashrams.
No, not Ramakrishna Mission ashram.
Any other ashrams they are called ashrams. Ashram word does not mean sannyasis are living. Even grahasthas can live, and I have seen many Jains, they have started ashrams. They call it ashram, and grahasthas live. Because they lead a good spiritual life, they call it ashram.
Okay,
Don't compare.
Yes, but I have heard them taking names of other reputed ashrams were run by sannyasis. So that was...
What type of sannyasis? Are they our Shankara traditional sannyasis, or are they Vaishnava sannyasis? Vaishnava sannyasis can do that. They are not these Darshanami Sampradaya sannyasis. Darshanami Sampradaya sannyasis have got stricter rules which Sri Ramakrishna started, because Ramakrishna was a disciple of Tota Puri. Puri is one of the Darshanami Sampradaya.
Okay, so Bharat Sevashram is not Darshanami, not under the Shankara lineage.
I think I should not comment on that.
Okay, all right. Yes, even I didn't want to take the name, but okay, all right. I understand. Thank you for clearing this, Maharaj.
Yes.
And now I think Nishant has raised his hand, so Nishant, you can ask.
Pranam Maharaj, Nishant here from Bangalore.
Yes, please, Nishant.
Maharaj, mine is a two-part question. First part is the tan-matra qualities can be transferred to other person through gold, as you said in the previous lecture, and by the shradha food. And is there any other way of transferring those qualities? And the second part is, as a staying in Bangalore, we try to eat more food outside. We won't cook our food and eat. So that also would affect us or not?
Very good questions. Yes, tan-matra, as I told you, the concept explains this way, that any connecting thought arises, then tan-matra can transfer the thoughts. So only thing, I should be connected with that person. So when you are sitting in Bangalore, I am sitting in Yelagiri, when we are talking about Ramakrishna, we both are connected to Ramakrishna, and Ramakrishna tan-matra is going to have effect on us both. So tan-matra can be transferred in many ways, as through the stula, that is this food offered to, that also it can be transferred, and it can be transferred a better way by yogic ability. If Swamiji touched as a Naren, as a young boy in Kashipur, he touched Kali. Kali was sitting and doing meditation. Just because he touched, how much is Ramakrishna got angry on Naren? And he said, Naren, what did you do? You should not have done this. Because his line is different. Your line is different. Your tan-matras, you have now put into him. So he said that. So likewise, tan-matra can be transferred by japa also. Suppose I am, you are telling me that Swamiji, can you please pray for so-and-so who is admitted in the hospital. Today I went and saw a patient in a hospital. So I came away after seeing the patient. Now you see that patients are there, naturally you will want to pray for him. Yes, by sitting in my place, however kilometers different it is, I can pray, and through my prayer, I can transfer the good tan-matras to the patient and make him healing. Yes, it is possible. There are many ways tan-matras can be transferred. Now you are coming to your second question, that since you are in Bangalore or in any town, that you have to eat everywhere outside, etc. Will those tan-matras of those people who cook food will affect you? Definitely. Definitely. That is the reason, unless you keep this in context, I'm telling you, you will think Sri Ramakrishna was a utter Brahminical, ideas he had, like that you may accuse him. When he came to Dakshineswar, when his brother was there, he could not accept even Kali body prasad food. He had to cook himself. See, the cooking himself and eating is one of the primary aspects of this tan-matra, so that another person's idea should not come and disturb me. I am myself. So that is how these things came up. So the practices came up, I'm telling you. So later this was not required for Sri Ramakrishna. And Sri Ramakrishna's life, we find anybody, the worst type of ideas come, he can absorb it, which we cannot absorb. That's why we are cautioned. Yes.
Mr. P. Chatterjee, yes, please.
Maharaj, Namaskar. Maharaj, I have seen in Sai Baba temple near our house, many people offer their food on this in memory of their father, mother, or something like that. And they give a pandara. So, but that is a temple. In the temple premises only, they are feeding and all this. So, since it is not Ramakrishna order, so that's what would be the answer, right?
So, since you told the name, I have no comment.
Okay. And my personal experience is that, Maharaj, you said that for blood relation, you can possibly take the food. But my personal experience, my own personal, this is after my initiation, I had actually attended an since it is a blood relation, I took food also. But nobody got any stomach disorder. But I was down for 2 days with a stomach disorder. I do not know whether it is food poisoning, but only one person got the food disorder and no one else. So this is my personal experience which I got in my own life.
Okay, this cannot be explained straight away. See, when others, nobody got upset, only you got upset. How do you explain that? See, the tan-matra I am telling, tan-matra comes in the mind. I'm not telling physically your body will be spoiled. I don't say that. The good food is given during the shradh ceremony, and you take good food, that will only nourish you. Food is going to nourish you anyway. It is going to become blood, it is going to become asti, majja, etc., etc. It will become. No food is going to be rejected like that. I am talking about the thought. Tan-matra affects the thought process. Sukshma body and affect kore.
Prithvish Mazumdar. Prithvish, you had a question. Did you have a
Yes, I have a question. I was struggling to unmute myself. Maharaj, that one.
You are in the queue. And next 3 persons are there in the queue.
Yeah, no, sorry about this. My system was giving trouble unmuting. This one question took so much of explanation and pinned up silence. So Maharaj, one follow-on thing, you said about this restriction of accepting shraddha food, and you explained the reason. Is there any such guidance on accepting food from any other ceremonies or celebrations that we generally have?
Yes, for the sadhus and brahmacharis, and also those who are practicing brahmacharya, for them some restrictions are there not to take the food offered in the marriage ceremony.
Okay.
That things are there. And for those who are seriously spiritually interested, for them not to accept unrelated, unblood related people's shraddha food. That restriction is there.
Okay.
But for marriage and all, the householder disciples can have.
Yes. No problem.
Okay. Thank you, Maharaj. I think Juma, who is next?
Abhishyanda.
Yes.
Yes, Abhi, tell me.
Yes, Maharaj, Pranam Maharaj, I wanted to ask a question, that is, in our Hindu rituals, in the shradha ceremony, there is a ritual that we feed other people. That's what we are talking about. We feed the relatives and other people.
Yes.
Does the tan-matra affects in reverse? Because if a person the relatives come and they are not paying the shraddha as they should, or they are all talking about other things, and does that affect the departed soul?
No, not at all. Because these are all, you see, most of them are in the physical level only we are there. When we are living, what happens? Living means what? I am in the physical body. But I have left the physical body, and my thought process can affect another person's thought process of those who are living in body, but not vice versa. Is it okay? Is it clear?
Is it clear, Abhishyanda?
Yes. Thank you.
No. Okay.
Maharaj, there is a question in the chat by Malini Damodaran that, dear Swamiji, how about the ladies taking food from in-law shradh ceremony?
Oh, definitely, one should take. If it is a blood relation to your husband, that means they are all related to you only. They are all, so in-laws are also they are to be revered, they are to be loved, they are to be respected, and their shraddha foods can be taken. No problem. You see, if you are belonging to one particular clan, one particular jati, one particular society, what happens? You all just a Xerox copy of the previous one only. So there is nothing wrong in accepting that.
Maharaj, and now Nandini, would you like to ask a question?
Namaste, Maharaj. I've read in Gospel or some other places that Guru Maharaj used to say that food is not very important. It is more like we have to have love and bhakti for God and spiritual practice. Like once I think he told Swami Akhandananda Maharaj that he was very ritualistic initially in his pre-monastic days. So he told, see, Swamiji, he is not, he takes whatever food he gets. So that is those ritualistic things you need not stress much. So something like that I have read. I just want to get clarified about that. And my second question is, Maharaj, if we are not able to avoid to take food in few places, if we partake the food to God and then take it, will it reduce the impact of all this things? Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes, it's a good question. Thank you, Nandini. So the point is that coming to the second question first, that is, yes, you can reduce the impact of the tan-matra effects on you by doing, as I told, my Gurudev told, 10,000 times you do japa. So that is one way of offsetting the tan-matra in the mental stage. So nothing is physical, but in the mind, what bad thoughts should not come to me, it can happen. So that can be offset by a good words. Yes. Your first question, it was not very clear to me. You see, Guru Maharaj says in many places that one must be more than paying importance to rituals, one must be devotion. Devotion should be increased, etc. Is it not? That's what you say.
Yes, Maharaj. He specifically told, I think, Swami Akhandananda Maharaj.
Yes, okay.
Regarding food, you need not stress much, like what type of food to take, where to take, all that and all. You need not stress much. You just have bhakti, that is more than enough. Food is just for your this thing. Something like that, I think. I studied it.
I'm unable to place that in this context.
Okay.
That teaching. Okay.
Okay.
Juma?
Yes. Shobha, yes. Shobha had raised her hand, but her hand is not raised now. Shobha, is your question answered?
Bharat Natrajan, he has put the same question there in the chat. So
okay, all right. Thank you. So, Indrani, would you like to ask a question now?
Pranam Maharaj.
Namaste.
Maharaj, this is Maharaj, I'm Indrani from Noida, Maharaj. So
Yes.
Maharaj, you were mentioning Vijoy Krishna Goswami. So I just remembered that I read that book. I read almost the whole of that book. A little bit is left. Sadguru Shango.
Yes.
So there also I really loved that book because it talks about Kulodananda Brahmachari's devotion for his guru. And as you said, Vijoy Krishna Goswami in that book is on many occasions he's talking about the importance of shradha ceremony.
Yes.
So related to that, Maharaj, I had just one question. You can say it's a question. I had always wondered that for everyone, yes, shradha ceremony is important, I understand, but is there any difference when we have our guru, and so in that case Shraddha ceremony, is that all? Does that become all important, or in some cases it? So that was my question. Is there any exception?
Yes, if you are belonging to a particular belief system, which we call it Hindu now, for instance, so in that case, the performance of the Shraddha ceremony is a must. Otherwise, how do you identify yourself with this belief system? So every belief system has got certain what you call perimeters where you cannot go beyond that. So in that way, we accept that. So you accept that and you do it. And with this only, when I die, my mind also will be like that. You see, I'm brought up in this line of thinking. So mine and my grandson will be same, ditto this way. So like that only we bring our legacy pass on to the legacy to the next generation. What is the meaning of telling that you pass on your legacy to your next generation? What does it mean? Do you give your home? Do you purchase certain cushions and give it to him? That is not passing on legacy. Passing on legacy is your mental ideas. That is what you are going to transfer to your son or daughter. If you are a charitable person, your daughter also should be charitable. So you have to, that is called transference. That is what you are supposed to do. And then this system, if it is there, you are within this belief system, then you must accept it. Yes.
It's 1 hour 25 minutes now, Sir Maharaj, and thank you for answering our questions so patiently. There is one last question in by Bharat Natarajan where he asks, will tan-matra affect even after chanting Brahmarpanam mantra and taking outside food?
Yes, yes, it will affect. Because in Brahmarpanam what you do is, I must clarify here one point which has been agitating me, thinking that everybody is thinking Brahmarpanam is a mantra for offering. That itself is a bad concept, a concept that has to be broken down to pieces. Because as a Vedantin, we don't accept this type of concepts, This is not an offering mantra. Brahmarpanam, that Arpanam word comes, I'm telling you the meaning. Now, that is not an offer to Sri Ramakrishna and then you take it as a prasad. This is not an offering mantra. This is called, from the Gita, 4th chapter, we have taken up this mantra. This is called Manan mantra. In Jnana Yoga, this very much is required, a Manan. What is Manan? Hearing, that is Shravan, then Manan and Nididhyasan. 3 types of practices are there in Jnana Yoga. So in Manan mantra, what you say is, it is not that, hey Krishna, I am offering whatever food offered is there before me, and then I am partaking it as prasad. No such meaning is there in that mantra. If you open your Gita book and go to the 4th chapter and read what it says what is arpanam, what is offered is Brahman. By which you offer, it is Brahman. And to whom it is offered, it is Brahman. Who is offering? He is Brahman. So everything is Brahman centered. That is the meaning. So here, where is the offering is there? Oh Lord, I am offering this food to you. You would accept it and make it prasad. No. This is not offering mantra. So what happens is that offering mantra, if you accept Brahmarpanam as that, the meaning does not say. So without knowing the meaning, you are just thinking, I have offered this to Sri Ramakrishna so that tan-matra will not affect me. So I can go and eat to my content in any Shraddha ceremony. If you think so, it is wrong. Because it is going to affect you anyway. Because you are not, this is not an offering mantra. Yes. Suppose an offered mantra, that is a food that is offered to Pitris, should not be offered to gods. So if you have Devatas, if you have a Krishna Vigraha in your home and Rama Vigraha, and you cannot offer that food to, somebody has brought some this prasad of that Shraddha ceremony, you cannot offer it to Krishna or Rama or anybody. You cannot offer to any deity. without the shradha ceremony. Suppose you have cooked in your home and you offer it to Lord and you take it as prasad, that is perfectly okay. No problem in that.
Shobha has raised her hand, but I will request Shobha, since it's Maharaj, do you have the time?
Yes,
do you?
Yes.
Okay, so Shobha, go ahead with your question, please.
Swamiji, can you give us a mantra for offering food to the deity at home?
Yes, a very simple mantra said in Bhagavatam, Kayena vacha manasendriyerva buddhyatmanatva prakrite swabhavat karomi yatyat sakalam parasmai narayana iti samarpayami. Om Tat Sri Ramakrishna. The mantra is very well known. You can get it from anywhere, even in your Google you can get it. Kayena vacha manasendriyerva. It is said. You can definitely get this mantra.
So we can offer
Thank
food
you so
also
much.
in this mantra.
Yes.
Pranam Maharaj.
Yes.
Hari Keshav.
Yes. Are you in the queue?
I am not in the queue, Swamiji.
Okay, tell me.
Swamiji, once the soul left the body, we are going to perform the rituals.
Yes.
Afterwards, monthly and yearly, we are going to perform the rituals. Every year we have to perform the rituals. Or we have to stop after 1 year.
Okay. The belief system says that every year you have to perform. The belief system says every year, so long you live, you have to perform. You don't worry about the departed soul. Some people ask me, the departed soul has already taken birth, and why I should offer these things to the already taken birth? You do not know whether it has taken birth or not. You simply assume wrong thing. So, till you are alive, you continue. That is the solution given by that. Yes.
We have performed in Gaya also, but even though we have to perform.
No. Once you have done in Gaya, you are given exemption. You don't need to perform.
Oh, thank you, Maharaj. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
So this brings to to the end of the third session of Seekers of God. It was a very, very interesting session, though we couldn't proceed with the next chapter, next part. But this has been a very, very enlightening session. Thank you so much for taking the patience and the time to explain to us in so much details. And is there anything else that you would like to say, Maharaj, or would you close the?
No, I would expect you to announce about the next classes announcement as you call it.
Yes. So next class is the first, So the next class for Tat Padam is scheduled on the first Sunday. That is for, that will be taken by Swami Shantatmananda Maharaj, and that will be on the Gospel of Ramakrishna. And the details and the link and the timing, etc. I'll be posting it in the Tat Padam group closer to the date. Is that okay?
Yes.
And
okay.
Can I request?
Thank you very much. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Durga to everyone. Thank you very much.